Hello everyone and welcome back to Southern Wealth. I hope you guys are doing very well. If you do enjoy the content, please consider dropping that like and subscribe. Today we have quite the things to go through, so let's do it quickly. Number one, I'd like to give an update on my positions. Not so much on the pricing of them. You guys all know I'm on, Pulse Chain, PulseX, X, Hedron, Icosa as the main coins. And then I have the lottery tickets Andy on Ethereum, 40 on Ethereum, Hoppy on Ethereum, Book of Ethereum. What else? Let me see. Pulse Launch, Pikamoon. I'm missing something else? Probably, but I've disclosed it quite often in my commentary section, in my description. So exactly when I came in. For example, Andy, I came in at around $1.6 million market cap, and it's now at close to 110. And my lottery tickets so far have been based on the fact that I think Pepe will continue to do very well, and those coins around it are basically leverage on Pepe, and that was my bet. I've already rotated big amounts into my core coins, which are PulseChain, PulseXX, Hedron, and Icosa. So basically, all my lottery tickets are in extreme profit, and basically all been paid for. Even if all of them tomorrow go to zero, I'm still doing very well. However, the portfolio has indeed positively grew. So I'm starting to split some of my holdings in secondary and tertiary hardware wallets. So this update is mostly on the security front, meaning, if something happens to my main hardware wallet, I now have wallets number 2 and 3 to split my holdings, just like you would do, splitting your money across banks. Same thing, same principle. And this is important because I never see any YouTubers talking about it, which is if your holdings hopefully are growing in value, then your care for security should also grow proportionately, just like it would in the traditional finance world. Same thing. Now, since my actually I posted my video and like 10 minutes, sorry, I didn't post it. I recorded my video and like 10 minutes later, Ethereum ETF was approved, and now it has been approved. And we had exactly what I was expecting, which is a buy the rumor, sell the news event. So we had Ethereum got all the way to very close to $4,000. The Ethereum ETF gets approved. We then go down. We went down until $3,400 something, and we are now recovering well until the 3,750. Now, this is normal because this is just a buy the rumor, sell the news event. Traders never resist them, and it doesn't matter in the sense of your long-term view. So, for example, when the Bitcoin ETF came out, what happened? Bitcoin spiked to 49,000, sold down to 38,000, and 2-3 weeks later was above 49,000 again. So that means, you see, this is why I don't short this. I don't trade these kind of things. I knew that Ethereum is gonna most likely sell off, as it did. So we are still waiting for our first buy the rumor, buy the news event in human history. So far, it has not happened. And basically, it was a good point to accumulate, which is what I did. Now, as you know, I'm on Pulse Chain, which is basically leverage on Ethereum. I actually like Pulse Chain more now because the price has been so subdued. But as you guys know, Richard Hart was targeted by the SEC, and the Ethereum ETF basically proves that Ethereum is a commodity, not a security, which means Pulse Chain, which is a copy of Ethereum, is also not a security. So I hope that SEC case is going to be solved quite soon, also in favor of Richard. In any case, those coins are cycle 2 narratives: Pulse Chain, PulseX, X, Hedron, and Icosa, which means cycle 2 narratives do very well closer to the end of the bull market. So right now, all my lottery tickets, and they are called lottery tickets because I didn't have the time to engage with the same level of research that I did for the others. Because basically, what ends up happening is, you cannot guess what's going to be nobody could guess that, frog coins would be the number one meme coins, or even MAGA coins. And I would get, maybe by the end of the cycle, you're going to see celebrity coins, something like every celebrity has a coin, like, I don't know, Denzel Washington coin, and Idris Elba coin, and Mike Tyson coin, and Tom Brady coin. I mean, who knows? Stuff like this, I wouldn't be surprised. That would be a sign of euphoria. That would be a good sign to consider start selling. Now, as I mentioned, cycle 2 narratives, they do very well at the end of the bull market. Now, do they do 1000x, 2000x? A few of them do that. The unicorns do that. But even the ones that don't do that well, they do 50, 60, 75x with a high degree of probability. So that's why I've positioned very heavily on those coins, because I do believe they will do at least a 50, 75x from the pricing that we are today, which means, taking into account the amount that I've accumulated, is more than enough to me to potentially retire, depending also on what the lottery tickets do. But I'll be in a comfortable position to retire if I so chose to. But that's my point. I don't position myself, hoping for 1000x, because those happen, very, very rarely. And what I've done is, okay, I'm confident that these coins will do 50, 75, maybe 100x. So let me get my positions such a way that if they do that, I'll be extremely well off. That was my point. And in case, guys, you haven't noticed, and this is beyond Pulse PulseX, and the others, crypto is becoming harder and harder. We have coins which have a lot of promise in terms of utility. They are filled with VCs. Now, VCs completely destroy retail, because you need to understand, VCs together, so a coin raises a lot of capital. They attract a lot of VCs. VCs is venture capital firms. Okay, so they get extremely cheap allocations. One of the uses of the money is to go buy YouTube influencers, and they give them also extremely low price allocations. So for them to start talking to their communities, oh my God, this coin is coming, and it's going to do this and that and the other, and it's going to be amazing, and it's going to be, all this kind of stuff. And then what happens is, by the time that coin comes out at a, $500 million market cap already, and then what happens is, let's say it goes to 5 billion. So that's a 10x on retail investment, right? Assuming that you got in at day one. But by the time that you are up 10x, these guys are up 1000x, 500x, 250x. And you, who are convinced to come in by the VCs and by the paid influencers and all of that, you serve as exit liquidity for the big ones to come out. Now, they cannot take out all their position, but they have these vesting schedules that free up some of their coins, and they start slowly but surely selling off. Why? Because by the time that you're down 50%, they are still up 200x. And so on that side, you have the VC world dominated of the utility coins. On the meme coins, you have, it was 1 million coins were created in 2 months. So how the hell are you going to get the right one? Now, I was lucky to catch the narrative, and I'm doing extremely well. So I was looking for coins beneath $2 and $3 million market cap that had a strong narrative, deploy a few $100. All of them are doing extremely well, particularly Andy, of course. But I was lucky, and I admit it. I'm not going to pretend that I'm a genius, and I'm not going to use it to pump you courses and Discord groups so you can get the next Andy with me. No. But what I do is, I've explained my strategy. I've came here time and time again. I tell you when I bought. When the thing is, like, nobody gives anything for them. They don't even pop up in Dex Screener or Dex Tools. They don't appear anywhere. And I accumulate my position around the $1 million market cap, maybe a little bit below, maybe a little bit above. And then eventually the pumps come. And I do very well. But there were a few that I didn't do very well, and I told you. I don't hide that from you. And I don't use that to sell you stuff. Though what happens with meme coins is the great majority are rug pulls, scams. They do this and that, and that's it, and they're dead, and most people get completely annihilated in them. So the question becomes, okay, but what about Bitcoin and Ethereum? Yes, Bitcoin and Ethereum are much more reliable, but have you noticed? Last cycle, Bitcoin went to 69,000. That's 350% above old all-time high. Can you retire on a 350%? Most people cannot. Now, if you're already a millionaire, 350% over 3 years is great. Much better than the stock market, much better and much less headaches than real estate. So sure, if you already have, like, let's say 10 million, 350%, you have 35 million. That's great. But if you have $10,000, well, $35,000 is great. But does your life completely change? No, it doesn't. So when I say that crypto is getting harder, what am I saying? Let's look at 2017. You could pick whatever coin was in the top 100 coins. My mistake. In 2017, 2016, 17, so that cycle, you could pick any coin in the top 20. All of them did like at least 100x. All of them. So it's very easy. Whatever you picked did extremely well. ICOs came about. Platforms like BSC Pad, Paid Network, Pulse Launch, like the one that's coming right now. So where you could buy the coins, stake your coins, get allocations in projects, all of them, all those ICOs did hundreds and hundreds of X's. That was the narrative of that cycle. All of them did extremely well. It would be difficult for you to find one that didn't. What happened in 2021? Well, a lot of things did very well, but it was not as easy anymore as picking the top 20. Now, was it? Now, layer 1s were the narrative, and all layer 1s did very well, including Phantom, for example, which is a ghost chain that has nobody there. Nobody uses it, there's no communities, there's nothing, but that coin did extremely well. Why? It was a layer 1. It was cycle 1 narrative. DeFi coins, X, Luna, etc. did very well. Dog coins did very well, and NFTs did very well, and gaming coins, they always do very well, although it was harder to find the good ones. ICOs did well. They didn't do all ICOs did 100x like before, but they did well. We had a few that did 500x here and there, other ones that did 75x, 50x, but it was not as easy as it used to be. And now it's getting harder. Now, the key difference of this cycle is that if the ETFs play out, and by the way, the Ethereum, by the rumor sell the news event, is going to be shorter probably than the Bitcoin spot ETF was. Why? Because now you've seen what happened with Bitcoin. It's no longer an uncertainty like it used to be. So in the past, Bitcoin was the first ETF. So you go, let's see what happens. Now you know. So I wouldn't be surprised if by next week you already have Ethereum above 4,000. I wouldn't be surprised at all. But you still had when people saying, oh, because I heard what people said. People are saying, oh yeah, as soon as the ETF is approved, Ethereum is going to spike 45% or something, like to 5,000 immediately. So no, these people, these Ivan on Tax, these crypto banters, he sold all his Ethereum, he was all out. Now he's back all in on Ethereum. And now he was selling off Ethereum, and now he's buying Ethereum, and now he's going into these coins, and now he's out. Look, if you follow what these guys tell you, God bless you, I wish you the best of luck, but understand that they are driven to sell you stuff. Shill you leverage trading, shill you an indicator, shill you a mastermind course, shill you whatever the case may be. Understand what they're doing. What I'm telling you, and nobody wants to hear this, is this time is probably the time that's going to be the easiest if everything goes well. What does that mean? If the amount of liquidity that's coming into the system from institutional players is so big that basically you get a 2017 style of bull market in which everything goes up, almost everything. I mean, you'd be pressed to find things that don't go up, as long as you are in somewhere in the vicinity of the narratives of the cycle. That is the 2017 style of cycle. If you get that, the next cycle will be incredibly more difficult to predict. Will Bitcoin go down 77 or 85% again? No. I think we're still going to have a bear market, but probably Bitcoin will go down 50, 60%. And people say, oh, but that's great. No. The volatility is what allows the outsized gains to the upside. Now, will Bitcoin do better than the stock market? Probably yes. Probably yes. But it's not going to be the same as it used to be. It's going to get harder and harder by each cycle. This cycle where we are now, maybe the last one that is easy. The next will become much harder. By the way, there's a comment. People said, Ethereum will never outflip Bitcoin. That's impossible. I disagree. I think Ethereum has a good chance of overtaking Bitcoin. You see, for all the Bitcoin maxis, am I wishing Bitcoin's demise? No. But Bitcoin is inferior technology. Ethereum as the community, such as Bitcoin, meaning community is the number one thing. Okay, ICP, for example, Internet Computer Protocol, has great technology but has no community, like comparable to Ethereum and Bitcoin, and that is the thing that matters the most. Okay, and then Ethereum has all the developers, has a better system with the staking, is much more useful, blah blah blah, all this kind of stuff. Okay, but that doesn't mean that Bitcoin should collapse or anything like that. Now, for the Bitcoin maxis that say that this is impossible, this is what you need to understand. By the way, you remember your friend Michael Saylor saying that Ethereum ETFs would never be approved. 2 weeks later, Ethereum ETFs are getting approved. See, I told you they were going to get approved. He told you, no, they won't. Guess who's right? Why? Because he has a vested interest on Bitcoin going higher. So that's why he will always try to push any position he has against the competitors. Now, for the Bitcoin maxis, look, I'm not here to argue all the points in the world. I'm just going to ask you this question. If you're a Bitcoin maxi that thinks that Bitcoin will outlive everything, including being the survivor one and the most important one and the best one, and not, let's say, Ethereum, for example, what you need to understand that you're saying is this. I am in a new industry where the first player ends up being the greatest success in the industry. Meaning, what you're advocating is something that has never happened in history. Think about any industry: energy, industrials, banks, telecoms, internet, tech, mining, raw materials, natural resources, oil, gas. Doesn't matter what you look at: cars, computers, pick your poison, hardware, software, pick your poison. Never the first company was the most successful one over a long period of time. So what you're advocating is, for the first time in history, in such a transformative industry like crypto, you pick the number one, the first one, who ends up being the number one for decades and decades and decades to come. That's a very, bold bet. I wish you the best of luck. As I've said, if Bitcoin and Ethereum keep doing very well, all the other coins, which I'm also in, will do very well. So keep that in mind, guys. Understand what you're betting on. And I'm here not to kill the party or anything. I'm here to make you aware that this is the time where the opportunities will come, and will probably will be the last time that things are this easy, if you will, and they're already harder than the previous cycles. And with that, guys, thank you very much for your support. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.